All right. So I know a lot of you participated in the first session of the day in SureTech. I hope that was everything that I heard it was. I heard it was fantastic. A lot of great startups. I think Nationwide won our Corporate Innovation Award, which is fantastic. Congrats to them. And so for this next section, we're very excited about Enterprise 2.0. It's a program we started just here in 2018, about 9 months ago in March. We started really looking to transform the digital infrastructure of all of the different partners at Plug and Play. So there are a lot of partners at Plug and Play who we work very closely with, who just kept telling us about, we want to work with this startup, but, there's so much work to be done internally here at our company. We need this type of infrastructure, this type of cybersecurity, this, that, the other. So, Plug and Play, in doing what it can to kind of serve the partners that we have across the programs globally, really wanted to build a new program that really specifically addressed this, with a specific ventures team, anchor partners to develop the program, and that's really what we've done over the last 9 months. So we launched on March 2nd with a selection day, with our batch 0, so that day being a similar day that we had in August of this year to select the startups that you're seeing here today. So that was a wonderful time. We launched with our amazing partner, Willis Towers Watson, who's engaged in multiple programs at Plug and Play and really helping us build this program with their HR thought leadership and expertise. For us at Plug and Play, it's been a growth period for us, absolutely. I think we are even still really trying to understand all of the different areas that we need to solve for in these corporations that engage with Plug and Play. There are so many pockets of transformation that need to be had, and to me, that is extremely exciting. I think the concept of the future of work, which is what Enterprise 2.0 was really built to address, is really inspiring to me. I think, the concept of changing work, to get people more engaged, to have them work on different types of projects, to pay them differently, to even just the concept of being employed by a company is being disrupted. There are so many areas that we are excited about when it comes to talent, when it comes to cybersecurity, when it comes to so many pieces that are relevant to your digital transformation. So, with Enterprise 2.0, it has been a wonderful experience so far. We have multiple partners engaging with POCs and pilots, and it's been a very engaging experience for us. So, I would like to start just by giving a shout out to our partners. So I mentioned Willis Towers Watson, who were with us from day one. Another group that joined us very quickly after that is a wonderful digital transformation company out of Connecticut called ISG. They've partnered with us since very early on. They have their hands in a million different industries, work with some of the top companies in the world, and they've been tremendous partners for us. In addition to that, I'd like to call out Recruit Technologies as being just a fantastic, sophisticated group for us to even continue to challenge us. Recruit is based in Japan. They own companies like Indeed and Glassdoor, and they're just a wonderful group that's really on the cutting edge of what's happening in the HR industry. Another group that's recently joined us that we're extremely excited about, and they're already hitting the ground running, is AT&T. That's very exciting for us with that scale of a company to be able to digitally transform in so many different areas. There's a lot of opportunity to continue that partnership and growth and getting our startups a lot of really good traction. So, with that, if we could advance the slide, that would be great. With that, I would really like to, one more please. I'd really like to call out just a couple of the activities that we've had going on this year. So, we have 4 partners. We've just finished today's our finish of batch 1, which we will see about 18 startups pitching. But the last couple months have been pretty engaging for us. We've had a few events. A wonderful one just a few weeks ago called The Future of Work. We had one of the thought leaders from Willis Towers Watson give the keynote, a very inspiring talk. We had startups. We had panel discussions on VR and the gig economy and so many different really interesting topics. With that, we also had a really interesting event on HR and accounting and the intersection of those two functions, and really looking at all of the different trends of technology affecting the CFO and the CHRO's offices. Please advance the slide. With that, so many of our partners are addressing different areas within their organization. So many have different goals, different pockets of where they're really pursuing change and just, again, a digital transformation. Here are a couple examples of where we've found some partners really having high priorities. And for us, really being able to work with them and partner with them just in terms of even refining problem statements and areas that we're going to address is really exciting for us as we do this whole end-to-end digital transformation with them. Next slide, please. So, with the program tracks that we are addressing here, I mentioned the future of work as a concept that's top of mind for us. I think a couple areas in terms of the corporate functions and in terms of the industries that we are specifically addressing, you'll see on the slide here. I think the first one, human resources, that's anything and everything. Talent branding to recruiting to onboarding, performance, engagement, culture, mobility, you name it. There's a million different pieces in there. IT and platform, whether it's edge computing, cyber, network analysis, anything in there. When it's operations, collaboration, workflow management, so many different pieces just in that bucket as well. Accounting, just with the HR and accounting event that we had about 2 months ago, there was a lot of interesting topics, not just even within accounting, which is a huge bucket for us to address, but an intersection of so many other functions, for example, like HR. One of the last areas we're extremely excited about is legal, the regulatory framework, compliance. There are so many different areas within this. Doesn't matter what industry you're in, what geography you're in, these types of technologies apply to you. Next slide. And with that, a couple of the startups that what we wanted to call out is really the why startups are here. This is not a Silicon Valley hype kind of event. This is not a Silicon Valley petting zoo. This is not just some activity that we like to hang out at. This is real traction happening for these startups. And it's not just traction for the startups. A lot of our corporate partners are refining their own digital transformation journeys based on what they're learning from the startups themselves as well. This environment is highly collaborative. It's a very serendipitous environment. It's an environment that we just highly encourage everybody to collaborate with each other on. So as you can see, startups are here to really get POCs, to get business development, to get investment. They're not here to, maybe meet a few people, maybe test out their theories on things, and maybe napkin their idea for somebody. They've built at least minimum viable products and are ready to get talking for product market fit with corporations that are here. So there's an incredible amount of activity going on that we highly encourage everybody to participate in. If there's any plug-and-play employee that can help you, please let us know, and we'll absolutely do that. So today, I want to first off thank everybody for being here as well. Today is a really exciting day for the startups. They've traveled from all over to be here to show you their products and their technology. So I want to give first also a shout out to the startups who made it out here, who are part of the program, who have gone through deal flows, our events, who have been in our building for a few months and really just been participating in the program as well. So thank you to those startups. I think another component that is really, we don't see a lot. An event like this, it looks fantastic. It looks great. All the startups are here. But, I really want to give a shout out to the team at Plug and Play as well. I think everybody works really hard here to make this event great for everybody. So thank you to the Plug and Play team and everybody who participates, the event staff, the AV crew, everybody. I do want to introduce our first speaker of the day, and really our only speaker of the day, and she's our keynote for the session. So her name is Purnima Wagle. She is the CIO and digital transformation leader of DCP Midstream. They are an anchor-level partner in our energy program, and she is absolutely a thought leader in this space. I was speaking to her for a few minutes before this. She is incredibly intelligent about all of this, and I was excited and jazzed, and I can't wait to talk to her after this. So if you all want to hear about kind of digital transformation, Enterprise 2.0, please welcome to stage Purnima Wagle from DCP Midstream.
Thank you. And where's the clicker? This green one?
Yep.
Maybe this will be better. Hello, good afternoon. So as they said, I'm Purnima Wagle with DCP Midstream, the CIO, and one of the digital transformation leaders at DCP. And today, I'm here to talk to you about what my thoughts are around what is Enterprise 2.0, and a little bit about DCP 2. So I have over 25 plus years of experience, primarily always sort of between the world of technology and business. Have worked in a wide variety of industries, started my career with automotive, Tata Motors in India, and then did a stint with Nissan in Australia. Then moved on. It seems to be a trend in my professional life that every time I change jobs, I somehow change industries. So at that point in time, I moved into high tech. I came to Bay Area and moved into high tech and was with Cadence Design Systems for a while. After that, moved into manufacturing and then supply chain with Flextronics, large electronic manufacturing and supply chain solutions company. And then now, since the last 1.5 years, I've been with DCP Midstream in Denver. So I actually moved out of the Bay Area, which had been my home for 24 years. And now I'm in Denver with DCP Midstream. Well, that's the professional me. And in addition to that, I would say I consider myself as a global citizen. And the reason I bring this point, we'll talk about it in a minute, is because we are living in such a connected world that eventually the lines between countries and lines between organizations is all becoming a big blur. And it's all of us in one big economy that we all participate in and work together to make it better for everyone. So I've lived in 4 different countries, born and brought up in India, lived in Sri Lanka, then Australia, and now USA. Traveled to 20-something countries, mostly for work, but also for some play, which was all good. And I have 2 digital natives that I've raised. So that gives me some credibility to be able to talk about what are we thinking about and planning for as the digital natives become part of our organizations and help us in this Enterprise 2.0 world. Oh, point there was, do note that my 2 digital natives are in college, so I've gone through those teenage years with them, which should give me extra credit. So anyways. So DCP Midstream, let's talk about DCP Midstream. It's one of the largest midstream companies in United States. We have around 62,000 miles of pipe. We operate in 16 different states. We process around, I think, 12 to 14% of the natural gas in this country. And we are listed on the Fortune 500, and we are very proud of that. We've also been listed by Forbes as one of the best employers. So we are leading the integrated midstream service provider. That's what we are. That's DCP Midstream. Now let's look at digital transformation. Sorry, I'm used to looking here for slides, and I notice they're always on the corners. But anyways, so let's look at what's going on with digital transformation. So if you are one of the digital followers, then less than 10%, and this thanks to McKinsey, we've got this information. So less than 10% of your revenue will be digital revenue. But if you happen to be on the other end, it's more than 40%. So there's obviously some value in going digital and being a digital company. So if that's the case, I wonder why DCP Midstream and others in the oil and gas space are on the lower end. Well, there are a couple of reasons for that. So oil and gas requires heavy capital investment. So it was not necessarily a change or die type of situation for them. So there was no burning need to necessarily change. Deep pockets over the years, which sort of changed over time. And then those deep pockets became less deep. And we had to work towards building a lot of different incremental improvements in how we run our operations, reduce costs, negotiate contracts, and do things like that. And we did that. But then, if you think about it, oil and gas, which I've realized over the last 1.5 years that I've been in the company, if you look at the employee base, our average tenure within our company for people is around 11 years, which is pretty high, I would say. I mean, coming from the Bay Area, not many people stick around for 11 plus years in any company. And at least, I think it was at 18%, I think Georgia mentioned, 18% of our population has been with the company for more than 20 years. So what does that mean to us? It means that we have a lot of people who've been with us for a really long time, and that's awesome, and they've been contributing really well for us, but they're all getting close to retirement, and many of them will retire. And at that point in time, we will really have trouble, because where are we going to find people who would, be ready to work with maybe the old systems and processes that are running well for us so far? So, our leadership, I think it was around 2.5 years ago, decided that, while it may not be a change or die situation, we will proactively take the step of deciding to digitally transform our entire company. And the reason we did that is because when our employees, our current employees, reach that retirement stage and we need to find replacements, most probably they will be digital natives. And when those digital natives come in, they are expecting a whole different world. I mean, they've grown up with technology. They've grown up with all these digital technologies, and they expect that, right? I mean, for them, they need that immersive experience. So we have to figure out a way to make their 9 to 5 same as their 5 to 9. They cannot have one set of experiences when they are at home in their personal lives and a completely opposite experience when they come to work. So we have to start figuring out to get ready. And it's not just DCP. I think for many companies across the board, across various industries, we'll all have to figure out how do we get to that type of an organization where our 9 to 5 is pretty much similar to our 5 to 9s. So that's the reason why we decided that we've got to do this. And so we started our journey towards what we call DCP 2.0. I mean, what I like about it is pretty much in line with what we are now talking about, Enterprise 2.0. So DCP 2.0 is our journey at DCP Midstream to completely digitally transform our business. And we've looked at it in many different ways. Obviously, technology plays a big part in this, but also equally important is the change in culture, is the sort of rethinking who we are, what we do, how we do it, who do we partner with, and all of that to work on driving this culture of innovation, driving a culture of speed and agility, and sort of open up our minds to different ways of thinking, whether it is design thinking or lean thinking or any one of those, and bring them all together to be able to move forward with to reach our goals and objectives. And so we've done a lot of work in this space. We've changed the way we work within the company, and quite importantly is we've also had successful payback, so to cover our costs and some more. So that's pretty cool. And that was DCP 2.0. So what is this saying? What it means is the world we live in is extremely connected. I mean, I feel like we are connected all the time, wherever we may go, whatever we may do. And a lot of it is because of this explosion of digital technologies that has come about. We have tremendous, I mean, before there were certain things that even if you dreamt it, you couldn't have done it because the technologies that were needed to be able to build it out were not quite mature or present in the world. But now, I mean, think about it. Social software, I mean, we use that for collaboration across the board, across the enterprise. The cloud technologies, the maturing of the cloud technologies, whether it is for platform as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, to talk about cloud storage, all of that. It sort of really opened up so many opportunities. I mean, if you're a small startup and you have an idea, you really don't have to go figure out and build a core comp in infra and all of that. You could go leverage one of those. Look at AWS or any one of the other cloud providers out there and leverage these technologies that are out there to get your idea out and get to market fast. So that's what's going on there. I mean, think about AI, ML, we are getting more and more intelligent systems. So our systems are becoming pretty intelligent. I mean, within DCP, we are looking at RPA, significantly. That is robotic process automation. So what we're trying to do is we're saying, okay, what's all the work that is happening? How much of that work can actually be eliminated, and let's eliminate it. But what cannot be eliminated, let's figure out how do we automate it. And maybe we take all those repetitive, mundane tasks and take the bot out of the person and put it in a bot. And let the person be the person, and let them use the human mind where it makes the most value, and it gives where it is truly value-add activity. So that's what's going on. I mean, then talk about AR, VR, NLP. This is all such cool things that are going on, and they're maturing. They're maturing to a state where we can eventually see, maybe in our near future, they'll become robust and scalable and all of that, and companies will start using it at a larger scale. Smart systems. For companies like ours that are, heavily asset and, intensive and all of that, imagine when you have smart systems and these systems can tell you, hey, I'm not feeling so well today. Maybe you should come take a look at me. Or maybe you should, send somebody to take care of me. Or maybe I'm one smart system taking care of another smart system, and I'll say, hey, you know what? I just noticed these trends, so I'm going to go tell system B to go do something else. So systems, once they become smart and intelligent and can learn over time, they will take over a lot of the work that we as individuals have to do. So is that a bad thing? Probably not. I think that is an awesome thing, because now we as individuals then don't have to do all these things that, we could have, built the logic and the algorithm for some system to go do. Instead, you and me, we can go engage in things that are much more enriching and valuable and, challenging for us. So we can go engage in those type of things. So look at your left side, my left side too. There you go. Look at the people side of things. So what does all this mean? I mean, now that we have this social software, we can have a free interchange and a continuous interchange of ideas, not just with people that we can, walk over and talk to, but with so many other people in the world that can connect to and contribute to these discussions and the ideations that are out there. I mean, individuals are no longer bound by physical limitations. I don't have to be in California to work with somebody in California. I could be wherever. We could virtually be anywhere, anytime, depending on our need and interest, right? I mean, we now value immersive experiences. Thinking about digital natives, all the more we should start thinking that way, because that's the type of experiences we want our employees, our customers, ourselves to have, right? So what is this doing to us? So with all of this explosion in technologies, with all of these great things that are happening, what it has done is there's a lack of barrier of entry, right? I mean, we don't really, from a people perspective, I don't have to be in one specific place to be able to participate. I could do that from anywhere. That means, we've just opened the opportunities to so many more people. There is no disadvantage whether you are in some remote place in the world or whatever. As long as you have connectivity and as long as you can, get to people who share your similar interests, you will be able to have an active role and participate and contribute to that. We are also seeing that because of all these things, whether it is technology, whether it is the opportunities that are coming up, it's creating this great ecosystem of partners, because companies have realized that you don't have to try to solve every problem by yourself. I mean, there are many other people. Not every company needs to be great in every possible capability. Focus on what's your core com and find those others that can participate as part of your ecosystem, and together you can go build solutions. So it is important to go do that. And this, this opening up of opportunities and whatever else is also bringing a lot of different cultures together. Well, there is a benefit in that, because we learn from each other. Different cultures, different countries, they have their own best practices. Now, if you start bringing them all together, we have a much better, chance in terms of doing creativity and innovation and driving it to a whole other level, right? Same thing between learnings from industries, learning from companies that now start partnering with each other. It takes us to a whole other level. So, I mean, I see this as, if we thought talent was a scarcity or whatever, I mean, it is only up to us. if we start breaking down the boundaries and look at talent beyond our boundary of a company or whatnot, then we have access to this global talent, and we have endless possibilities, all enabled by these digital technologies. So then, after all of that, what is Enterprise 2.0? So what does it mean to us? Maybe it means slightly different to you, but this is sort of my interpretation of what Enterprise 2.0 is. So if I think about it, the traditional enterprise, that was more functionally compartmentalized. We solved for, say, HR. We solved for legal. We solved for finance. Or maybe we solved for the company. It is yet compartmentalized within the framework of the company or the departments within. In contrast, I would say, the Enterprise 2.0 type of an organization is sort of boundaryless. It's boundaryless within, and it's also a little bit boundaryless outside, in terms that we don't necessarily look and think about the problem within our own little framework, but we start looking at it from an end-to-end perspective. We start thinking about things as, I'm not just solving it for myself or for my department or for my company, but how do I solve it for the industry? Because unless you can make it optimum for the industry, somehow or the other you might lose to someone else. So you might as well start partnering and sharing your ideas and and solutioning and options together, right? So that, I think, is a big difference between the traditional versus the enterprise. From a solutions perspective, the focus more was around enterprise solutions, which needed to have huge training and whatnot. But in today's day and time, in the Enterprise 2.0 space, I think if you have to train people to know how to use your systems, that is in itself a problem, right? Because you want it to be so intuitive. I mean, I don't remember that we have to teach the digital natives, or I'm relating to this in terms of that I had to teach my kids how to use their phones and whatnots. They just know. I mean, they go to a site, they look at it, they know how to shop for sure. I know that because we have to pay the credit card bill. So I'm sure that works really well. So they have had no need for any instruction. And so the fact that we need to, we think build things that need people to be trained, that's a problem. In the Enterprise 2.0 world, that will not be the case. We do need to collaborate across boundaries, and I've talked about that a lot. I think it is more relevant for this crowd because we have startups here, we have enterprises here. What we all need to do is understand, what each other's capabilities are, what each other's opportunities are, and then go figure out, where we can partner and what we can do. So the work that is happening in this room and in other rooms like this is only going to help us get to this Enterprise 2.0 much faster. And definitely, I would say the Enterprise 2.0 space, you would have a digital business model. Whether you have digital revenue or not, that is yet to be, I'm sort of debating it in my own head. But for sure, you should have a digital business model, ideally, and possibly, also extend what you do as a company and go into, things that do get you digital revenue. So in this case, I would say we've got to partner. And when we partner, and we actively partner, and we proactively partner, we can change not only our company, our industry, but we can also change the world. And that's, I would think, would be a great place to be. So what would it take to succeed as an Enterprise 2.0? I think first things first is, and we say this a lot at DCP, we say that you've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And what do we mean by that? Because many of the systems, the processes that are in place that have been doing well for us, okay. I mean, they've not, broken down or anything. We can sort of limp along or probably run a little bit with it, have been in place for a while. And sometimes there are things that we, meaning you, me, or somebody in the organization would have created it. And there's a little bit of, it's my baby, it's really beautiful. All babies are beautiful, but then all babies do grow up, and then they can get a little annoying. And that can be the case with our systems too. So it's okay. It's okay to look at things that we created and challenge them and say, you know what, that was good, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a question of time. Everything, that even the best of things can be improved, and we owe it to ourselves to look for continuous improvement, and the continuous next. Like, what's next for our business? What's next for our industry? What's next for our community? And what's next for our world? We need to get there. But in order to do all of that, in order to be able to challenge the status quo, we've also got to be agile. We've got to be able to open our minds to different ways of doing things, learn from other industries, and from a person who's hopped industries, I would say there's always an advantage. You learn things from one industry that can sort of, be laterally moved over to another. So there is an advantage in being able to do that. I know in the past we used to always say, like, people with specific experiences, well, that has a place and a time. And then sometimes you also need other types of thinking that pushes your thinking and helps the company or the organization, move in different directions. Build active partnership. This is very critical. We can't do everything ourselves. It'll just take us forever and ever. And by the time we get there, it may probably be not worth it. So we've got to figure out, and we have to do this selectively. Maybe there are certain things we do want to do ourselves because that is our differentiator. It makes us stand apart. It gives us the competitive edge. And maybe there are those areas that we will, go that path alone or with a lot of, I would say probably, there are some areas. But a vast majority, we can partner with others. We should partner with others, and we should bring them in where it makes sense. And it'll be like a win-win, right? A solution for us. And maybe if you were a startup that was partnering with us, we can become your biggest sandbox or whatnot. So there are lots of different ways to think this through. Driving speed to value. Why do I put that as something that is important for in the Enterprise 2.0 space to be successful? Because it's not about just getting the value. It's getting the value in the right window of time, getting the value quicker. It's not like the old method where you just go on and take years and multi-million-dollar investments and then hope and pray that one day all of your dreams and that you had about the value you would deliver would eventually happen. That's not what we want. We want to be able to build value along the way. So we are building credibility and we are learning. More importantly, we are learning. The faster we can get to that value, we learn from that process, and then the next iteration and the next iteration is so much better and so much faster and so much more valuable for us. We have to bring in outside-in thinking. It cannot always be the way we did things, because that gets old pretty fast. We've got to start looking at other companies, other industries, and learn from them, and be quick in our learning and in our adoption. We've got to focus on outcomes, not outputs. It's not important that you did it. What is important is when you did whatever you did, what did that result into? Did that change any actions, any decisions, any, the direction of your company? If not, then, why bother? So, and the last I would say is you've got to rethink your business model. Because if we don't, then we have just, by definition, defined our own constraint within which we will live. So if you like mansions, then stop defining your home to be your room. So, and move beyond that. And what I would say to close this is, the way I look at it is, we are all, we meaning the different organizations that are in this room, startups, enterprises, whatnot, plug and play, all of them, right? I think we are all like different departments in one large company. So think about this. All of our companies are departments within one large company, and that one large company is our economy that we all participate in. So we've got to figure out how will we play in this space, and how will we support and then also compete. So it is a question, not a question of competition, but it is a question of cooperation. We will cooperate and compete both, and that is absolutely possible. So that's Enterprise 2.0 from me, Purnima Wagle, DCP Midstream. Hope you enjoyed that. Thank you.
Thank you, Purnima. We're going to start the first section of these startup presentations with the non-HR startups. So for our first startup, the next presenter used to be an engineer at NASA and is now building software for enterprises. Please welcome to the stage Paulo from Arena.
Thank you. Good luck, all right, Arena. Are you guys having fun today? All right, I like it. Well, my name is Paulo. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Arena. We are an AI marketing platform helping companies to convert visitors into buyers. But before I move forward, let me show 2 images that you might be very familiar with. The first one is the digital transformation. As we know, social content is exploding, is redefining how users behave. People just don't buy products. People buy experiences. And second, it's about the buyer's journey. It's not only about the marketing funnel, right? It's about multiple touch points where now we need to understand when and how to engage with every single user. And because we could understand really well those 2 factors, those 2 transformations, we were able to build our traction. In 2 years since we launched Arena, we have 25 million of new users that were visitors to become buyers, growing our more than 100% in revenue growth annually. Also, since we joined Plug and Play Accelerator, we're able to engage in commercial agreements and POCs with multiple corporate partners. So Arena, we leverage AI to understand the user behavior and build a personalized experience. So basically, we work with companies like Microsoft, Fox Sports, Sony Music, Turner, and multiple companies in the e-commerce space, media, travel, finance, and insurance. So let's take a look in action. Nothing better than a real demo to see how it works. So this is the front end. Expedia here is building an experience in real time. We're helping them to create a personalized experience so users that can engage and understand how awesome it is to go to Sydney, Australia. In the second case here, we have a live event happening here, for example, a sport event. We're able to personalize the experience in mobile and web at the same time as the event happens. So users, they stay more time in the website, increase engagement, and we can increase the conversion to become a subscriber, to buy a product, to buy a merchandise. So let's see how it would be working with you. In a POC, how normally we work, we engage in a partnership. We do an integration with just 1 line of code, super easy. And second, we just see the results. It's all automatic. It's all using our AI technology. And one of the things most important for Fox in this space is the conversion that we have in 1.8 new users that were visitors became a sign-up user. In the back end, what happens? So we track every single user. We know their behavior, their location, their demographic, and we build a portfolio. So we have a persona profile for every single user. So this is in the back end. So our partners, they can see like a CRM, and the most important part, we can predict the purchase intent using a buyer's score. From here, we can integrate with multiple players in the marketing space, and then we can calculate the ROI, including the high conversion. That's what we're very proud of. As an engineer, we are very data metric. We understand data more, in deep level, and we know that the conversion is the most important part in today's technology because there's so much going on in the world. We are 2 people in the team, myself and Rodrigo. I worked at NASA as a software engineer, and my background worked in a media company called Hulu. Rodrigo worked at Walmart Labs as a senior developer building high scalable products. We have great investors, great advisors, and now we're part of Plug and Play. We'd love to engage with you, explain more how it works, and do a demo about our product. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paulo. Up next, we have a company where it is the only company here today named after a Mortal Kombat character. Please welcome to the stage Matt from Shujinko.
Hi, I'm Matt with Shujinko, and I'm co-founder and CTO. And Shujinko builds secure, compliant cloud environments fast. Can I get a show of hands of how many companies out there today have some sort of IT compliance or regulations that they have to adhere to? Yeah, quite a few. And that number is only going to increase as the government starts to get involved in data privacy and increasing compliance standards and complexity. At the same time, your businesses are having to move faster. Customer demand is increasing, and it's becoming more and more complex. Additionally, your competition is moving faster. And, excuse me, to do this, you're likely having to move mission-critical applications to the public cloud. And this is slowing, your IT department is having to resolve for compliance in the public cloud at the same time. To do that, they're having to hire expensive and hard-to-find DevOps engineers. And this is actually slowing down your IT organizations. One thing I've learned in my career is that security and compliance is a major pain in the ass. At my most recent company, I was at Starbucks, and I was charged with moving them to the public cloud for their first production workload. And to do this, I had to hire 20 DevOps engineers, which was incredibly expensive and incredibly time-consuming. And it took us over a year and a half before we were able to deliver business value back to the enterprise. In today's day and age, that's just too slow. The biggest problem we had was dealing with compliance. We had both internal and external standards that we had to adhere to. And it really slowed us down. We spent 6 man-months every year doing IT audit-related work, and it slowed us down tremendously. And that's why we're here today with Shijinko. With Shijinko, we built a cloud construction engine that allows you to build your cloud environments in minutes rather than years. And because we built it, we can automate the evidence collection for your organizations. So instead of your engineers spending time gathering evidence and talking to auditors, they can start building business value. And this will allow your organizations to move faster and move faster than your competition. It'll reduce risk of costly data breaches that could damage your brand. It'll also reduce risk of you failing your audits. But ultimately, it'll allow your organization to focus on business value. And that's why we're here today. So, Shijinko, we have an early adopter program that we've set up that we're looking for about 5 more applicants to do so, and we'd love to have a couple of plug-and-play companies out there to join that program. My name is Matt Wells. Please reach out to me directly if you're interested, or log into our website. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Matt. Up next, our presenter is working on a blended recipe of samosa and croissant, both her favorites, the croimosa. Please welcome to the stage Nalani from Reltio.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's not just my recipe, it's my product too. We blend data. So it may be the right approach to blend different things and bring a conglomerate of something that businesses really need. So Reltio Cloud is the name of my product, the product that my company makes. And we are a modern master data management platform. And the product mainly organizes enterprise data for digital transformation. So digital transformation is almost like a cliche. We keep hearing this phrase over and over and again everywhere, almost like climate change, right? So we may be tired of hearing it, but the problem is not going away. But it's something that we all have to turn around, face it, and solve it together, businesses especially. And why do we hear of this so often is some of the reasons here that you see. First and foremost, you have regulatory compliance. GDPR is looming. So we need to take care of that. And then global standardization and local flexibility. In an increasingly global world, it's important to standardize procedures, everything, and then also stay flexible in a local sense. And data distribution and monetization, business models are changing. We have more and more share economy models. We have Uber, we have Airbnb kind of models coming up, and there's a lot of demand for distributed data and how you monetize it. That's another challenge. And omni-channel connectivity. So as my friends here shared, we are digital natives. There are more and more digital natives using information, and we live in a highly digital world. So that means we have to make data available across channels, multiple channels. So starting from retail to healthcare, people are demanding that information is available across channels. So omni-channel connectivity is another challenge that is part of the digital transformation initiative. And data-driven supplier ecosystems. So businesses, more and more, have to deal with an ecosystem of suppliers. And this implies that data, they're all driven by data. Data that is clean, data that is available, and data that can be accessed anytime, anywhere. So the supplier ecosystem demands that more and more. And then mergers and acquisitions. So if your business is into mergers, then you need to bring together customer data, you need to bring together the product data, and the market data as well. And if yours is not a company that's merging or going through M&A, you still have to, if they're in the market, if there is a company in the ecosystem that's going through M&A, it's important to take stock of the competitor information. So in any case, data about competition, data about markets, data about products is important in a situation like that. So this being the landscape, how are companies dealing with this? Not very well. They still cannot transform. There is a need to change. There is a need to transform. But there's a lot of problems involved in that. Why? That's because of this complexity here in terms of data sitting in different silos and applications. And companies are not able to bring together data sitting in different organizations, different departments, and make sense of all of it in order to provide a comprehensive set of information to businesses. So what makes it different for some companies that are successful now? In spite of all the complexities, there are some that thrive, that are thriving a lot, that are succeeding. We see them day in, day out. Amazon, Netflix, these are all some companies that thrive really in a data-driven economy. But why? How did they achieve that? What is the secret sauce behind those companies? Because they follow these set of principles. They firmly believe that data is at the heart of every decision that they make. They make the data as the central point. They organize data for all types, and they make it available at unlimited scale. And they also unify data sets to deliver personalized and contextual views. Like my friend here from a company that provides personalized views for travel. We saw that on the screen. That's what they are able to bring together. And they also infuse analytics into every business process. And they continuously learn about customers. They just don't stop with organizing data and making it available. They're able to learn from what their customers say, and they're able to pull all that information and make it better, bring better experiences to their customers. So Reltio is a master data management platform. And what the platform does is, to understand Reltio, it is important to understand the three fundamental steps that the Reltio platform, Reltio Cloud, follows. It first organizes data. What Reltio does is aggregates all the information and then refines it, reconciles it, and relates it using a Reltio graph. And we are also able to bring together data, master data. We are able to bring together transaction data, interaction data, reference data, and third-party data, and bring them all together, and then provide them as profile views, personalized profile views. And what happens after that is that we are able to align and bring together the transaction and interaction data with those profiles. Once you build solid profiles from the different sets of data, what happens is the profile gets augmented, and we are able to build ranking and scores for those profiles. And those scores gets written back to the profile, the main profile itself. So that's where the improvement happens. And I'm sorry, I somehow seem to have gone. How do I go to the penultimate slide, please? The one before, yes. So this video that I'd like to share kind of consolidates all the slides that I spoke from until now. So
When Tammy has a business problem, she needs an answer now. But when Ted gets a new business request, he has to blend data from different technologies, then build and deploy custom solutions, which can take months, if not years. So Tammy goes her own way, with self-service apps and tools, making critical business decisions on incomplete and inaccurate data. But it's not just Tammy. Everyone else uses standalone tools, so more data gets siloed and no one has a 360-degree view of the business. Yikes! Now, there's Reltio Cloud, a modern data management platform as a service. Reltio Cloud starts by creating a reliable data foundation, knocking down the silos, and using built-in next-generation master data management to continuously match and manage data from all data sources and formats. Relationships are then uncovered across people, products, places, and organizations to form a commercial graph. Relevant insights and recommended actions are then seamlessly delivered through new data-driven applications tailored to each business user. So when business has a need, Ted can bring more data together at big data scale to deploy data-driven applications faster, delivering 360-degree views in a fraction of the time. The apps allow everyone to collaborate and share data in real time, and they're as easy to use as Facebook and LinkedIn. So now, Tammy has a closed loop of reliable data, relevant insights, and recommended actions, so she can be right faster. Which means Ted and Tammy can actually get along. Sort of. Be right faster with Reltio Cloud.
Thank you. That sums up what the product is all about. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nalini. So up next, our presenter has the best jump shot in his local basketball court. Please welcome to the stage Louis Victor from TailorFlow.
Hi, I'm LV, CEO of TailorFlow. I don't know where they found that out. But what TailorFlow does is we bring observability to your cloud costs, actionable insights, and one-click remediation to reduce your cloud costs. So we live in an era right now where cloud costs and infrastructure costs in general are virtually impossible to control. And the reason we're here is because prior to the cloud, it was very easy to provision infrastructure. If you were the CIO or CFO, you could just tell your IT department, this is your budget, follow it. It was super easy to provision. Then the cloud came along and wrecked all of that. No longer is it predictable. It's highly dynamic. It's always changing. And the finance department has virtually no control over what's going on. It's in the hands of the engineers now. So in a world like this, enterprises waste over 35% of all public cloud spend. Whether you're on Azure, AWS, GCP, it doesn't matter. Waste is abundant. And when you consider that this is a multi-billion-dollar problem, fast approaching the tens of billions, you'll realize, what's the point of making Jeff Bezos richer by the day when the promise of the cloud was to be efficient, easy to scale, but also highly visible and transparent? This is a problem that many enterprises face, and this is a typical example of what a corporate partner at Plug and Play might feel. Here you can see, I'll quote this gentleman, but our lack of cloud hygiene has cost us $45 million in the last 2 years. Our EBITDA could be 20% higher, expletive. So this is the typical case that enterprises moving to the cloud might experience if they're not extra careful about cloud hygiene. So what is cloud hygiene, and how can enterprise IT and finance teams better manage their cloud to be as cost efficient as possible without compromising performance? Well, we found the answer with TailorFlow. We launched an autopilot for your cloud costs called TIM. It plugs into your cloud infrastructure, figures everything out, applies tags to all your resources for easy cost allocations so your engineers don't even have to bother with that. It's done automatically. It does real-time AI cost monitoring. So by the minute, you know what your instantaneous cost on AWS is, and you can monitor cost incidents in real time and do workload automation off of that, which is extremely powerful, rather than having to wait till the end of the month to figure out what to do when things are too late. And instant optimizations. These are one-click remediations to optimize your resources, to turn them on and off based on what our AI tells you. And there's a very high confidence limit assigned to each of these recommendations. This is an example of what the tagging looks like, and the real-time cost graph, and finally the example of a real-time recommendation delivered through Slack or wherever else in your developer workflow where they can click whether to approve a decision, because we always forget of resources that we spun up years ago or months ago. It's very typical, and this is a typical example of the type of waste in enterprises everywhere. So the TaylorFlow team, we're 8 strong right now. These are the founders, but we are experts in rules engines, enterprise cloud, and machine learning. We've worked on some of the biggest cloud projects with financial institutions like TD, et cetera. We worked on cloud projects in healthcare as well with Bayer and so on in our past. And we have pretty good pedigree as well as building cloud projects for some startups. And basically, if you want a team to help you manage your cloud costs without compromising performance, we're your guys. We also have backing from AWS in terms of being an advanced tier partner. And that gives us a lot of credibility from a cloud optimization and management perspective. We're one of the highest ranked in that regard. And our advisors are also leaders in AI and cloud. Our goal is to save enterprises $10 billion in cloud costs by 2025. And if you'd like your enterprise to be part of that picture, please contact me. Within days, we can save you up to 30%, 35% of your cloud costs. It's just an email, and it's a pretty big impact on the other side. Thank you.
Great job. Thank you, Louis Victor. Up next, our presenter has built a mobile app in 4 hours that has been downloaded 5 million times. Pretty impressive. Please welcome to the stage Daniel from SageWise. And your cookie. Good luck.
So SageWise is actually a smart contract and blockchain company, but we really believe that blockchain technology should be something that the user doesn't need to know about at all. So although we use that technology, the presentation today won't actually refer to it. So my question is, does your company sign a lot of contracts? I'm curious. Probably for most people you do, and you probably use one of these tools. And they were really innovative when they first came out, and that was actually a very long time ago. We went around and we actually talked to people who use these tools, and this is some of the feedback that we got from them. It's not very intuitive. It's expensive. I can never remember what any of these buttons mean. Can you please build something better? So we decided that we could. And I'm here to introduce Sign by SageWise, which is a modern electronic signature tool. It's got a very refined and simple interface. And our general approach is that it's a drop-in replacement for the existing tools that you use, probably at a lower cost. Our pricing model is a little different. So come talk to me if you're interested in that. And simplified user experience, we focus on the fewest number of clicks you would need to actually set up a document and get it signed by others. Direct email integration, open source, public verification system used for better security, and enterprise approval workflows. I'm actually a member of the California State Bar Task Force for Innovation through Technology, and my co-founder is a securities attorney. And please join our beta program. We have over 100 signups currently, and you can do that at sign.sagewise.io. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Up next is a graduate of the U.S. Army Airborne School. Please welcome to the stage Neil from Contract Wrangler.
Thanks. I'm also an attorney, but I thought that wasn't as interesting as going to airborne school. So I really appreciate the keynote today, and I think one of the key messages from it was companies should focus on their core competency, and there are a lot of other specialists who can help you with things. And that's basically what we're seeing in the world today, and some of these great companies are here. You're hearing from them right now. You could be signing your documents better, for example. So this is the way the world is going. We are working with specialists. There is a pernicious side effect of this, though. A lot more contracts, because each of these entities you do business with, you got to go sign a contract with, and that lays out the terms of your relationship. So how do we do contracts? Scene might look familiar here. You've got all your stakeholders around the room, IT, accounting, finance, business development. Everyone says what they want. We write it up in an agreement, and here we are 9 months later, or maybe 3 months later, depending on how often you reorganize your company. People forget what's in their contracts. We call this the intention versus action gap. And so what happens as a result of this? If you don't know what's in your contracts, you've got winners and losers. So this being a funny, big example, you ever been to Park City, Utah? Former home of the Olympics? They lost the mountain. They forgot when was the lease option renewal date. Now, there was a winner. Vail and the owners of the mountain, they were on top of this. And they moved in, boom, 1201, took over. So you'd say, hey, Neil, that's kind of far-fetched. We're actually business people. We don't run ski resorts. I got it. So back to your company. You've got the CFO says, gee, I don't like this supplier. Wouldn't it be great to go catch out when there is an auto renewal and get ahead of it? Is this machine under warranty, the CIO asks. Basically, every single business function works with contracts, and they'll all got to keep track of certain key details. So how do we do this today? 2 methods. One we call store and pray. That's the majority method. You can read the Gartner stats on this. Now, the minority method is, hey, I'm going to be really organized and get a database. And I've got a quote here from University of Phoenix, a for-profit ed company. Yeah, we got a database, but no one put anything in it. And you probably heard the acronym GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. There's a different version, which is NINO, nothing in, nothing out. And that is the problem with databases. So just imagine a world in which you could be omniscient without having to type in the database and read the 10,000 contracts. Imagine if you could just know something was going to auto-renew and go out and get competitive bids. That's what we do. Drag and drop in your contracts. We are using attorney-trained machine learning to automatically extract the key business details and get these to you timely, when you need them. We take the insights from the contracts, and then we're working with your other business systems that you're already using. We're partnered with Salesforce. We're partnered with SAP. Take the insight from your contract. Wouldn't it be amazing if you connected that to Ariba and went and got some bids before something auto-renewed? Or maybe your customer contract, boom, you sent a notice over to Salesforce, and you can go notify the rep, hey, better go call them up before something changes in the relationship. It'd be amazing. So we're working with some top banks and insurance companies, working with other fast-growing companies. We're venture-backed. Why come talk to us? Think of your contract like a couch. You know, it's got some corners. You might know where those are. It's kind of comfy. But imagine now your contract with Contract Wrangler. We find all the money in your couch. Thanks.
Good job. Well, thank you, Neil. So up next, our presenter's previous startup was to make 3D animated movies. Please welcome to the stage Bala from Enlighten.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing? Good, excellent. So my name is Bala Kadlor, and I'm the CEO and founder of Enlighten Technologies. So over the course of the last 10 years, where I've managed business intelligence, data, and analytics, I've come to learn one thing, which is there's more and more and more dashboards. It gets to a point where it's almost impossible for the business intelligence and analytics teams to keep track of what is going on, let alone answer any questions. And so here's a typical scenario in a week of an enterprise. Here's an executive, rings an alarm that some metric is on fire, and everybody within the organization run as though their pants are on fire. The data comes first. Oh my God, did we do something wrong here? The analyst next. Oh, did we count this thing incorrectly? And then the business follows. Oh my God, there's something that we're going to find here. And then guess what? We all think that there's some tangible outcome or business value coming out of this. But unfortunately, there's none. Why? Because it's a simple question of answering a question whether a metric was up or down and why. And it was as simple as that, and there's nothing coming out of it, nothing that the executive can act on. And we want to change all of that. We want to put a data scientist in the palm of every executive's hand so that they have an understanding of where their KPIs are going and what they should do with it so as to be able to impact their bottom line or the top line of an enterprise and then be able to drive their business towards the goals more effectively. So we're a SaaS-based platform. And our algorithms actually reside on the cloud, and we read into the data sources. We don't copy the data, but we just read the data. And then our patent-pending algorithms basically compute the insights on the KPIs that an enterprise defines. And once they define that, they're able to consume that using a mobile app and using the subscription model, which they can subscribe to. So the traction that we've had so far is that we've completed 2 beta customers. One is a supply chain logistics company that actually fulfills orders from YouTubers by fulfilling merchandise by sort of outsourcing it to external vendors. And when we provided these metrics, what we found that ship lag was an interesting metric that allowed the supply chain logistics company to be able to call out vendors that they're doing better than expected and call out to the ones that are defaulting their contract obligations. And for the ones that are doing better, we were able to actually push the holiday order cutoff time to a further point in time so that they could actually not only maximize their revenue, but also impact or not impact the customer satisfaction negatively. The second one was a program management or online program management internet company that were launching hundreds of campaigns, hoping for some kind of a trial, conversion that would lead into some kind of a customer trial. And when we were able to provide these metrics, we again found out that some trials were from a specific set of sort of campaigns that were actually run, and that they would be able to sort of dwindle down to those few campaigns that were effective, and then move their marketing budget more effectively to be able to convert that into revenue. So we have one more multinational company actually that is waiting for a 3-month period, and we have a well-founded team with deep expertise in data and analytics. With some of the companies that you read are like the FANG of the society today. And we're not only looking for customers for pilots and POCs, but also trying to raise some funds to hire some key personnel and complete our product 2.0. We're Enlightened Technologies. We're looking to put a data scientist in the palm of your executives. Thank you so much.
Great job. Well, thank you, Bala. Our next presenter has run a race from the Dead Sea to the Red Sea. Please welcome to the stage Jordan from ClearLaw.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me. And I've been told I am the last one before a break, so please stay with me. Help is on the way. Just to start off, can anyone tell me who this man is? Go ahead and call it out. Garry Kasparov, that's right. Chess Grandmaster Kasparov. And he is famous, in addition to being the world's best chess player for a while, he's famous because he lost to IBM's Deep Blue, a computer program that plays chess, way back in 1997. And since then, even cheap machines have repeatedly dominated the world's best human chess players. But what you may not know is that when someone like Garry Kasparov teams up with a chess-playing machine or an engine, and they take on together a equally sophisticated machine, the human-machine combo usually wins. My name is Jordan Rittenauer, and I'm the CEO of ClearLaw. We think that the human-machine combo is not just a great way to play chess, the best way. We also think it's the best way to conduct in-house legal operations, specifically contract review. We've developed an AI-powered virtual assistant that is going to help your legal team process documents and contracts much more quickly. We've already tested it on 90,000 contracts, and we're confident that if you give our virtual assistant a try, you'll see your revenue growth increase because you're closing more deals more quickly, and you're doing so while mitigating risk and saving time and money. So this is a very ambitious agenda for us for 3 minutes, but I hope that by the end, you have a little glimmer of hope that there is a better way to contract. So first, the challenges. The challenge for legal teams is that in any growing organization, they inevitably become the bottleneck. It's easy to hire more salespeople. There's a lot of sales, automation, and marketing tools out there, but they still have to fit through the same legal pipeline. So the way to solve this has historically been to hire more people, which is obviously very expensive, or you demand that your employees work longer hours. That can lead to mistakes, employee burnout. At ClearLaw, we started with the mindset that there shouldn't be a trade-off between speed and accuracy, and certainly not one that breaks your corporate budget. So we started developing a new technology that leverages the existing information present, all the institutional knowledge present within your organization. And what we've created is a virtual assistant that helps guide your legal team through continuous and augmented contract review. The way Allie, the virtual assistant, works is pretty simple. Allie analyzes your existing contract database to understand your contracting preferences in any given situation. Then when a new contract comes in, it's analyzed against the relevant precedents. You should see that here. And suggestions are made to get your contract back in line when it deviates. So this is all based off of your own data and the way you've preferred to contract in the past. We've also made it very easy for your legal team to reference precedent, so you know where Allie's suggestions are coming from. This is a way to fact check our learning, our machine learning, and make your attorneys feel comfortable that they're making the most informed, best decision. But this isn't just a tool for contract reviewers. This is also a tool for leaders. So decision makers are going to be able to see where deals are in the pipeline based off of legal complexity, and also see and visualize where deals are repeatedly getting bogged down. So, if you'd like to give ClearLaw, a virtual assistant named Allie, a chance, please come talk to me afterwards. I'd like you to imagine what it would be like to take advantage of all the institutional experience that your legal team and anyone else in your organization has given and provided into contracts. We're making that a useful resource moving forward, and we're going to speed up contract review so that it's no longer the bottleneck, and legal is finally going to be able to keep up with the speed of business. Please find me afterwards. My email is jordan@clearlaw.ai. Thank you for your time.
Good job.
Thanks. Good.
Thank you, Jordan. So that concludes the first section of the startup presentation. So if we could give a quick round of applause to the startups who have presented so far. So after our short break, we will have the HR-focused startups presenting. So we will have about a 30-minute break starting back here at 3:15. So do your networking, meet at the tables, grab some food, pit stop. See you everybody back here at 3:15 p.m. Thank you. We're going to get started here for the next section. If everybody could take their seats, finish your conversations, we will get started here in just a second. All right, everybody. Well, again, thank you, everybody. I hope you had a good break. We are entering the next section of the Enterprise 2.0 Expo at Winter Summit. For this next section, we'd like to start with a short video. So if everybody could wrap up their conversations, take a seat. We'll start with a quick video and then jump right into startup presentations. Thank you.
Digital innovation and investments have historically been dominated by customer experience and improving engagement with end users. Today, savvy industry leaders are quickly realizing that any initiative to transform their company would be limited without equally effective change for corporate functions such as HR, IT, accounting, legal, and operations. With the recent advances in enterprise technology, corporate leaders are realizing that they cannot afford to miss the opportunity to transform their own corporate departments. However, implementing company-wide change and adoption of new technology is a complex endeavor. For meaningful impact, it's not about adding new shiny add-ons, but fundamentally changing how work gets done throughout the organization. In light of these emerging trends, our team at Plug and Play recently launched the Enterprise 2.0 Innovation Platform that leverages our existing network of startups and 280 corporate partners. This platform helps large corporations take the first steps to accelerate their current innovation efforts and digitalization strategy by connecting them to the startups that are changing the future of their industry. If you take a step back, there is a greater value to the Enterprise 2.0 initiative. Work is a big part of people's everyday routine, so finding ways to make people more productive, engaged, and successful at work can improve people's quality of life. So join us as we change the future of work.
Great music at the end there. All right, so our next speaker was once recruited by Grammy Award-winning singer John Legend. Please welcome to the stage Emeka from PeopleJoy.
Thank you. All right, I promise I won't start singing. My name is Emeka. I'm the CEO of PeopleJoy. We help increase engagement and stickiness of voluntary benefit platforms using student loan assistance as an employee benefit. I want to start with the story. 13 years ago, I was an avid saver. I was maxing out my 401k, and I was participating in my employee stock purchase plan. I actually lived at home for 3 years after graduation. By the time I was 25, I had saved $100,000. Felt really proud of myself. That stopped after I graduated from business school with $120,000 in student loans. Between an apartment in New York City, between my student debt, and between saving for a wedding, I didn't have much left. Now, my company had decent employee benefits. They had a 401k match. They actually even paid my healthcare premiums. Now, being a young guy in his 20s with a lot of debt, I didn't fully appreciate those benefits. Now it gets even worse. That woman I married had $250,000 in student debt. She hadn't saved for retirement in 9 years. But there's a silver lining for her, though. She works at a nonprofit. She works at a hospital. She's eligible for what they call public service loan forgiveness. However, the process for public service loan forgiveness is very complicated. In fact, this year alone, 99% of applicants were rejected. Now, because of student debt, it stopped our ability to save for retirement, buy a home, delay starting a family. When it comes to voluntary benefits such as disability, et cetera, it also impacted our ability there. No surprise that millennials are underinsured because we're struggling with student debt. Certain benefit providers have seen that gap and are addressing it by bundling workplace solutions into their voluntary benefits. So companies like Fidelity, Lincoln, Prudential, and Secure and Financial. The challenge here is that a lot of these student loan benefits are either cost prohibitive, they're taxable and require an employer contribution, or they only favor highly compensated employees, such as refinancing. When it comes to artificial intelligence, Financial services, tax preparation have for years used that to increase efficiency and lower costs. PeopleJoy has brought artificial intelligence to the arena of understanding student loan benefits. So with our artificial intelligence assistant, Ed, it gives step-by-step voice interactive guidance that guides employees through understanding and maximizing savings on their student loan benefits. So for example, my wife, who works at a nonprofit, can input her student loans and get step-by-step guidance on her public service loan forgiveness eligibility, and we go a step further and actually enroll her in those programs. We do the paperwork for her. Folks like myself can understand and compare their options not only on refinancing, but other repayment strategies. In addition, our artificial intelligent advisor, Ed, can be bundled with employer assistance programs when companies actually want to make a matching contribution to their employee student loans, and that's also available on our platform. We also are connected with, the way we price it is per employee per month, so we make it very efficient for plan sponsors and insurance providers to actually bundle our solution. We also do performance-based pricing where the employees can actually pay for it based out of the savings that they get through our tool. We're at companies all across the country. We work with nonprofits, for-profits, and schools. We're here today looking for pilots. We're looking for pilots with plan sponsors as well as insurance providers. We're also raising a seed round. So if you're interested in either of those, please reach out to us. Once again, my name is Emeka Ogle. I'm with peoplejoy.com. You can catch me at the booth over there or Umbrella. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Emeka. Our next presenter was not only a world champion rower from the University of Virginia, but she was recruited and hired into the FBI out of college to train foreign police and military. Please welcome to the stage Joanna from Sensia. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Yeah. All right. I don't use any of that now, so I'm not going to row for you, and I'm not going to train you on police tactics or anything, so don't worry about that. Anyway, I'm here to talk to you about talent. Really quickly, I want to ask a quick question. How many people in this room need to find great talent? Please raise your hand. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure I was talking to the right crowd. Anyway, Sensia is the next generation recruitment platform democratizing talent. We exist to change the way that companies find and engage the best people out there by changing recruiting from something that is heavy human time and cost and has quite a lot of human bias into one of predictive intelligence and automation. And we do that through a next generation talent search engine for the enterprise, where instead of having to have humans look at platforms like LinkedIn, we predictively deliver them the best people for the right opportunities, and we do that with radical efficiency and equality. My team's fantastic. They are incredibly impressive. Every one of us have focused for the last, I would say cumulatively, probably 80 years of the enterprise. Our CTO is focused on, for the last 20 years, building high infrastructure, big data, and AI platforms for large-scale enterprise. Tim Johnson was one of the early sales leaders at Marketo, took them all the way from 50 employees all the way through IPO. And Rebecca Poole was prior the global head of product management at IBM Watson. So we're super excited to have our team. We launched our platform exactly about 4.5 months ago. And so far, we have about 45 enterprises as customers. We have hundreds of users, so we're super excited. And all of these companies come to us and look at us as a solution that can transform their hiring. The talent acquisition market's a lot larger than pretty much anyone ever knows. As you all raised your hands saying it's important to you, it's really important to every company out here, out in the world. And globally, it's a $500 billion industry, and the talent acquisition technology market by 2020 is going to be $113 billion. Number one priority for every company, attract, hire, and retain the best talent. But hiring today looks a lot like this. So how does it get to this, where we just know the right person? The problem today is that there's a lot of error, there's a lot of bias. It takes a human between 24 to 33 working hours to build a short list of talent. And there's a lot of misalignment between hiring managers and recruiters. So we invented an intelligent people data platform that automates sourcing. Through data science and machine learning, we model and analyze real people. We take the top performers that either you identify or your company sees or the market that the market identifies, and we build you a short list instantly with the right people that you want to go after. We do that where we expand the talent pool massively for organizations, and we deliver those slates in 3 to 5 minutes. We deliver it while you're sitting with the hiring manager, so there's that real-time alignment. And obviously, the transformation on an ROI level is very high. The time to interview goes from 3 weeks to 3 days, so we start delivering interview-ready candidates right out of the gates. And the time to hire goes from 8 weeks to 3 weeks, and this is what we've seen across our 45 customers. But more importantly, we have a big focus on inclusivity. How do we drive more diversity into organizations? What we noticed was that there was a big change when there was a focus for companies on diversity. When the company itself has a diversity policy, the offer acceptance rate goes almost 50% in both male and female categories. When there's diversity in leadership, the offer acceptance goes up even higher. And the ROI for diversity beyond hiring, it's good for business. We all hate that our tech talent turns over all the time. Well, unfair treatment is the largest driver for turnover tech costs, costing companies $16 billion in employer replacement costs just in the United States. And yet what's crazy is that 57% would have stayed if they noticed that their company was taking active measures to improve diversity. And so we looked at this and said, how do we remove human bias in this entire process of search? Because it is a really big place that this is coming in. Our pricing model is a SaaS-based model. We have 2 different ways that we deliver our solution. One is to automate sourcing, and the other one is both intelligence and process. So it's not going to only tell you who the right people are, it's going to get those candidates engaged and slot them in for interviews. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Joanna. Our next presenter has a proprietary recipe for homemade limoncello that starts with stealing lemons from your neighbor. Please welcome to the stage Luca from Beacon Force.
Good luck. Thank you. I don't know who told that story, but it's maybe not the best way to start after the FBI. But that's what we got. I will figure out who I have to fire after this presentation. So. When I'm not stealing lemon, I'm a part-time CEO of Beacon Force. And what we do is technically, I'm pretty sure that each one of you, like now or in his career, had responsibility over hundreds or sometimes thousands of people worldwide. And my question for you is, how do you know how these people are doing? Who's your eyes and ears to measure performance of these guys? Because the reality is, most of the companies out there are facing all of these problems, and the bad news is they will never succeed. And the reason why they're not going to succeed is because these are not problems. These are actually symptoms that something much deeper than that doesn't work anymore. And there's tons of studies and data that show how management is the main driver of these issues. Like with the result that 87% of the people out there hate what they do every day at their work. And if we think about it, management, modern management, as we know it, was conceived more than 100 years ago when this guy was building Model Ts in big factories. And since then, nothing major has changed in the way we manage people. Fortunately, what could happen, what could be the potential of shifting that number and having 87% of our guys engaged in what they're doing? So in the last 15 years, science has made huge steps forward in understanding how we take decisions, and what motivates people, and what's really going on in this 3-pound matter at the top of our neck. Unfortunately, all of this scientific evidence has been left on the shelves by businesses. So what my co-founders and I have made in years, we developed our own methodology and framework to tackle this problem, and recently we put it on technology to build what we call an AI-assisted management platform. Let's see how it works. We collect data, various sources of data, psychological data through an app, physical data through latest generation of wearable, and environmental data through smart offices if they are set up. All of this data is crunched by our algorithm and applied on our analytics that provides real-time visibility to management on everything that relies to intrinsic motivation, but ultimately performance, trust, sense of belonging, and stress. The machine doesn't stop there. Actually, the machine sends out real-time tips to management on what they have to do in order to increase the performance of their teams and their organizations. The result of this is, think that in the palm of your hand, you can provide your managers with a tool that provides real-time visibility on everything that matters, ultimately to increase performance, and they need exactly who needs what and when to drive better performance. We launched our platform a year and change ago. These are some of our paying customers, and these are some of our numbers. We have 100% customer retention. We are extremely proud of that. We have more than 75% of voluntary adoption. Technically, users in corporation use our platform every day, and they like it. And we have more than 98% of accuracy into the analytics. We're going to be here for the next few hours if anybody has any questions, and we're going to be extremely happy to answer to that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Luca. Our next presenter got his professional start working in hotels as a bellboy. Please welcome to the stage Lauren from Fishbowl.
Great, thank you. Hi everyone. My name is Lauren, and I'm one of the co-founders of Fishbowl. Our professions define a significant part of who we are as individuals. For many of us, it's what we spend half of our day doing. But unlike our personal lives, where we have places like Facebook and Instagram, there's actually no place to go to talk about our professional lives. You might ask yourself, well, there are professional networks out there, some exist. LinkedIn, it's a great resume and Rolodex, but ultimately it's the database of names that we're querying through. It's not a place we really go to have conversations. We do go to places like Slack to have conversations, but that's to get work done. And if you think about who you are as a professional, our professional lives, it's so much more than just the task at hand. And so Fishbowl is a new social network where professionals are coming to actually talk with one another. Professionals are coming to the platform to get advice, share work stories, to be part of a community. Many of our users describe it as a more professionally relevant Twitter. There are two parts of Fishbowl that make it unique. The first is connecting with relevant professionals, professionals like yourself. The second is having the comfort to speak with them. Fishbowl automatically groups professionals from similar backgrounds together into communities. We call these communities bowls. Bowls can be as large as an entire industry or more specific and focused on your company, your expertise, or your demographic or personal background. Diversity and inclusion bowls are actually extremely popular, and Fishbowl is the formal partner for Time's Up, serving as the dedicated safe space for women in the entire advertising industry in the US. As professionals, we often are too afraid to ask a question because we don't want to look stupid. We're afraid of not admitting we don't know the answer. Fishbowl is unique in that it allows professionals to not be as intimidated when engaging with their peers. Although everyone is verified on the platform, on a post and comment basis, you can choose how much information about your identity you want to disclose. So you can post with your full name, but also with just saying where you work or your verified title. This creates much more authentic conversations between professionals. We've launched to 3 industries so far, and we're going to be launching openly entirely in 2019, and it's clear that professionals want a place to connect and actually talk with one another. We've seen 1/4 of US professionals from the top companies in these industries sign up on the platform. From junior staff to CEOs, they're coming and engaging. They're signing up as individuals, but that's representing tens of thousands of companies on the platform. And so, for example, at companies such as Boston Consulting Group, that's representing 2/3 of their US workforce on Fishbowl, engaging with people across an entire industry or in specific other bowls. We're influencing industries and also companies. CEOs of large organizations are checking in on Fishbowl as individual users every day to get a pulse on what their employees are thinking and feeling. Harvard Business School is conducting research to better understand how current leadership at these large organizations are using Fishbowl to have authentic conversations with their employees, which is actually fostering greater trust in the organization as a whole. We're a consumer platform, but we are selectively partnering and working with a few larger organizations focused on some of our formal solutions around talent acquisition and employee engagement. Thank you for learning about Fishbowl. We're connecting professionals within industries through conversation to help them navigate their careers and learn from one another. Thank you so much.
Great job. Thanks. Well, thank you, Lauren. Our next presenter, where the name of their company is called Flype. Now, Flype is actually not a made-up word. It is a type of knot turned 180 degrees. And so they hope to untangle the knot of engagement and enablement. So please welcome to the stage Nag from Flype.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to present here. Just starting out by saying that we're not necessarily in HR, although we come from the world of HR, and Flype's about customer enablement. If you look at most companies today, most of the top interactions that you have with customers after you make the sale tend to fall into one of these categories. Could be some regular updates, could be some tutorials, could be some welcome emails. And this is fairly common across industries and verticals. But the big problem is it's very manual and very complicated for customer-facing teams. The poor customer success person has to coordinate and kind of be the quarterback of working with product companies, product leaders, marketing leaders, customer support people to get a sense of the customer and engage with them at the right time and their users. Too much can be annoying. Too little means you don't react to the customers till there's a fire. And each of those channels are very disconnected. So you can have a lot of disconnected actions going out to customers and not really helping them much at all. So we thought we'll solve the problem by creating an automation that tries to make sense of it, uses the data, but provides a really simple experience for your customers and their users directly inside your app or website or portal. At a very high level, we simply collect as much customer data as we can. Some of it comes directly when you embed our product, which is really simple. A couple of lines of code gets you in. And we kind of build a customer view. And then once we get that, we work with the subject matter experts to set up and train the models to interact with users at the right time in the right context. And I've given some examples of what they can be. And then we try to predict opportunities for expansion and retention by using the data. So really 3 key pillars. We fuse experience, intelligence, and automation. When it comes to customer enablement, less is more. So we have a really simple widget with a couple of lines of code. You can put it into your app or portal. And we use working with subject matter experts and the customer teams. We set up the models to create a set of interactions. Those could be for onboarding. This could be for a new product release. Could be for some best practice, or could even be for a webinar that you're putting out. We try to bring the customer data together. The more data, we get smarter, but it's not always required. Example is one of our customers is in fintech. They use it for customer engagement. So you can kind of see how you can orchestrate a series of experiences using a simple unified channel. Bottom line, we try to reduce support issues, we try to increase product usage, and we try to increase customer engagement with much less reduced resources and dollars, trying to do automation at scale. A lot of customers, our early customers, love the product. We're getting excellent feedback and adoption. And we think it's the right product at the right time because customer experience is increasingly becoming one of the largest growing segments of enterprise software. And we're starting with obviously high tech, but generally its product is applicable to various industries, and we're exploring them as we talk to more customers. We have a pretty strong customer interest list and growing, and some of them have already started in production and working with us to kind of engage their customers. Very simple active user model. Start simple, and then you go forward, working with partners as well to kind of land and expand at various customers. We are starting with in-app experience, but we want to be the system of engagement. Ultimately, as someone mentioned earlier in the presentation, we want to create an ecosystem of partner apps in the customer tech stack. I'm not going to go into this in the interest of time. We have a really strong team of people with executive experience as well as product experience, also as a team of engineers. And if anybody is interested in increasing your engagement with just a couple of clicks, come on and stop by, and we are welcome to try out our product. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Nag. The next company up is CompIQ. Please welcome to the stage Adam from CompIQ.
Yeah, and sorry I didn't have any sexy story. Not the FBI, wasn't a bellboy, and my company name is quite boring. Although we do have had a recent merger, and we do now have a beer company in our name, Stella, like as in the Belgian beer. Any event, the co-founder and CEO of CompIQ and also Stella, they've recently merged. So when we started off here, we were just CompIQ. They're both companies that I co-founded started in the last 3 years. They both grow out of a fundamental insight that companies house data within their internal utilitarian systems, such as an HIRS system and a ATS system, that they don't share with one another. And by pooling together those resources, in the case of the ATS, the applicants, in the case of the HRS systems, compensation data, employee performance reviews, analyzing that and sharing it, you can accomplish incredible things. So Stella, let me just advance this here. Whoops. Okay. So Stella begins by pooling together the non-hired applicants, over 150 customers. You can see some of our clients there. For example, someone applies for a job at MetLife. They don't get hired. Previously, MetLife was just sending them a rejection email or not even doing anything. Now they invite them to join Stella. Stella then, you fill out a common app, and Stella reroutes them to an open job in the network for which they're qualified. So the pooled resources of our 150-plus clients of these unused applicants are now being recycled and distributed throughout the network. Similarly, CompIQ takes the employee data, compensation data, performance review data, job responsibility data, which is currently housed only internally. It pulls it up into the cloud, into our intelligence layer. It anonymizes it, encrypts it, analyzes it, and then pushes back down into those same utilitarian systems, the insights from that collective market network data, which in the case of CompIQ is what is the market benchmark? What is the value in the market of this person? Which helps you price talent when you're going to hire them, and particularly now when you can no longer ask candidates what they're making in their job. In many states, that's helpful. And then once they're there, understanding in order to retain them, what is the market benchmarking price? And further, once they're there, what is the talent trajectory? Meaning, what are the typical responsibilities someone gains they move up the pipeline? So by combining these two companies together, we've created this intelligence layer on top of these utilitarian systems, pooled together underutilized data of companies that they would never normally share with each other, as sort of Switzerland, using AI to analyze it and push it back into their systems. We've raised $26 million to date between the two companies, and we have our largest investor is Seek, which is the third largest job board in the world, publicly traded after Indeed and LinkedIn. And we have an open convertible note for which we have left open after their investment to selectively receive other strategic investments to fuel our growth. The company's based in New York. I'm the CEO, and if anyone would like to talk further, my CTO, our COO, and my partners will be back at the booth afterwards. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Adam. Our next presenter was raised in Silicon Valley since before it was called that. So please welcome to the stage Susan from Swarm Vision.
Hi there, I'm Susan Briganti, CEO and founder of Swarm Vision, and it's true, I galloped my pony up Highway 280 before it was paved. 83% of large companies feel they're at risk of disruption, and the other 17% are delusional, which is why we built Swarm Vision. We know, as experts in predictive analytics, that companies are still staffing for the industrial age, the traits on your left, when they need to be staffing for the innovation age, the traits on your right. So Swarm Vision is a turnkey SaaS solution that transforms your company for the innovation age from the inside. We identify innovation talent in your workforce and in your candidate pool. We organize it with tools and upskill it to deliver explosive growth in less than 6 months with no need for consulting. We did 2 years of research on serial successful innovators, and that's what's at the heart of Swarm Vision. We know that innovators are wired different. These are the traits that are highly predictive of business success from innovation, such as profitability, hypergrowth, global expansion, and IPO. We are very proud to work with some of America's greatest companies, including Johnson & Johnson, BNY Mellon, and HP. We designed Swarm for 3 personas. All 3 of them touch the product. Brad is usually our buyer. He's the head of a business unit. Mike is a line manager, and Serena is an employee. So here's how Swarm works. Serena takes the Swarm Innovation Profiler, which, by the way, won HR Tech Product of the Year this year, and she instantly finds out her top 3 innovation strengths. See, she sees herself compared to the general population and discovers her strengths and weaknesses. She finds out that she's likely to thrive in the commercial innovation sort of quadrant, which is Horizon 2. And she's psyched to be invited to Swarm Innovation Training, which is fully online, fully automated, no more workshops, no more offsites. She actually learns these 8 innovation skills, and during the course, she develops an innovation proposal worth $50 million to her company. She retakes the profiler, and now she scores in the disruptive innovation range. Brad is more interested in the big picture. He's intrigued that over the past 2 decades, his company has decreasingly hired disruptive innovators. That's the purple line. He's also concerned that around the world, his different locations are not equally likely, or not very likely, to actually succeed at innovation and drive commercial results. He's thrilled, though, to see his innovation pipeline getting automatically filled up with high-value, de-risked innovations, again, with no offsites, no consulting. He has a 10,000 to 1 ROI on his purchase with Swarm. Mike, the line manager, is more interested in the day-to-day. He uses Swarm to hire more innovative talent and to improve his teams. This is Mike's team before Swarm. This is Mike's team after Swarm. As I said, we have a 3-tier SaaS business model. As you go up in tier, you get more seats and richer dashboard functionality. And we won HR Tech Product of the Year. I'd like to invite you to do a proof of concept with Swarm. We'll be at the tables over yonder. And I'd like to assure you that you will thrive in the innovation age. Thank you. I'm Susan Briganti with Swarm Vision.
Thank you, Susan. Up next, we have a company called Remesh. So please welcome to the stage Gary from Remesh.
Hello, I'm Gary, co-founder of Remesh. Your 184th pitch of the day. Jokes aside, I really appreciate you guys being here. The fact that you and your companies are investing your time, energy, and resources into events like this is the right first step in becoming an Enterprise 2.0 company. So we don't believe that Enterprise 2.0 means changing your business model, pivoting what you guys do. It's about doing what you do, but doing it better, doing it smarter, doing it faster, using technology that companies like ours are bringing to the table to do what you do and beat the market. Now, what we bring is better business intelligence, the ability to make better decisions, to innovate faster. Now, you're already doing this today. Over the last, let's say, decade, everyone here has embraced quantitative data, passively and actively collected, That's your point of sale data. That is your NPS scores, your employee engagement. You've embraced companies like SurveyMonkey, Qualtrics, Glint, and they're making a big impact on your business. But you haven't done that for qualitative data. You're still having IDIs, one-on-one conversations. You're still running focus groups. Nobody has found a way to bring qualitative data, to bring conversation, true dialogue between business decision makers and their stakeholders to the enterprise until now. Welcome to Remesh. Remesh is an online platform, web-based, that uses the latest in natural language processing, proprietary, machine learning, and a variant of Bayesian inference to allow a single person to have a highly dynamic, a true dialogue between that one individual and up to 1,000 people in real time. So you feel like you're having a one-on-one conversation, but in reality, you're talking to the collective intelligence of the people that you're making decisions for. Now, what does that look like? Well, like this, a back and forth conversation. And of course, we can synthesize, we can rank and structure all of that information that it takes us to derive that one response, and we can do it quickly, but you care about all the data behind it too. So in a couple button clicks, we give you access to your crosstabs, your segments, to any sort of information that you want, so that you're making better business decisions using real data, talking to real people. But don't take my word for it. We have over 600 clients, including the largest consultancies in the world, financial institutions, CPG, food and beverage, automotive, manufacturing, technology companies to make better decisions today. And we've raised over $20 million in capital to get it done. Love to talk to each and every one of you about how we can bring your business into the world of Enterprise 2.0. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Gary. All right, so we've now had our last HR startup pitch for the day. Up next is the voting. So please, on the back of your badge, go back, scan the code, and vote for your favorite startup of the day. And while we do that, we will have a short video on the future of work. So we'll be back in a few minutes to calculate the votes and issue our Corporate Innovation Award as well. Thank you.
So I think the big kicker with the enterprise vertical is it's pretty exciting to see all the different growth, whether it's HR, legal, operations, kind of spanning all these different industries that, you know, frankly, like every company has an HR function, every company has a legal function. So it's really interesting to see Plug and Play getting into that and honestly having kind of a wealth of startups across a lot of these different areas.
Plug and Play has been incredible for us. We've grown month on month. We've quadrupled our monthly reoccurring revenue within a very short amount of time. We've met some incredible organisations.
We're a New York-based company, but coming here to the Valley is very refreshing. Being the part of a group with complementary products, we have not only got to learn from other companies, but the most benefit that we have got out is talking to the corporate ventures or corporate partners out there, and as well as other investors.
One of the objectives was to actually connect to enterprise clients worldwide to really quickly get their feedback, and the deal flow sessions helped a lot in that. We had some really good mentoring sessions with mentors who have been either in enterprise or who have done startups before.
I think in general the nature of startups allows us to do things quite quickly and work through certain processes quite quickly, what will work and what won't work. They're typically quite light touch and agile, and so the sort of costs associated with doing that both from a resource perspective but also from a time perspective makes it a very efficient process. I was fortunate enough yesterday to participate in the Enterprise 2.0 session, which was absolutely fantastic, and we saw some really interesting pitches and some very, very interesting business ideas that were supported by some very innovative technology and clearly very, very bright people, and it's really fantastic to see that sort of diversity going on here at Plug and Play.
All right, quick reminder to submit your votes. It will be in the brochure. So if you have the brochure, the code should be in there to vote for the startup that will win the day. So for the next few minutes, as we tally votes and we give people time to vote, we wanted to identify a corporate partner that has really what we believe really achieved our Corporate Innovation Award for the year. And this is really our first one since we launched in March. This is exciting for us because this corporate partner has been really with us since day one. They were here from the first selection day. They were even helping us think about the program from the get-go, really feeding us ideas and use cases and the need that this really does exist. And you know, for us at Plug and Play, it's been a journey to build this. A lot of people hiring, a lot of events put on, a lot of research and investments, and just a lot that goes on at Plug and Play. And so, you know, this partner has a tremendous amount of deal flows with us, participate in our events, speak at our events, work with us on research and surveys and all these different types of things. And so, you know, we'd really like to identify Willis Towers Watson as our Corporate Innovation Award winner for Enterprise 2.0. So if the Willis Towers Watson team could come up, we'd love to present the award. All right, well, here you are, your Corporate Innovation Award. I'll let you say a few words.
Sure. Thank you. Well, this is terrific, and I have all my colleagues here with me. So, well, this is an honor, and it's hard to believe a year ago this was just a dream that we were going to create and be an anchor partner in Enterprise 2.0. So, first of all, I need to thank all the innovators in the room, and that's to all of you startups. I am inspired every time I hear you do your pitch. So thank you. A round of applause for all of you. Thank you for all you do. Really breaking new ground. Next, I really need to thank Plug and Play. Ali, Mark, Norjit, Nick, the team you're building in Enterprise 2.0. I'm going to forget somebody because, like I said before, we're breaking new ground. It's really a role model in how you co-create and collaborate with organizations to really transform for the future of work and to support the innovators in the room. So thank you for that. Thank you. Round of applause for you. We'll keep applauding. And lastly, I just want to thank the other corporate partners, ISG, AT&T, and Recruit Technologies. We're very excited to be part of an open innovation platform. I imagine we're going to see more great things as we spend time together over the next round. So thanks again, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.
And we are finalizing the tally of the votes for the startup, so give us just a second. The votes are in. This is real time. So in regards to everybody who's participated in the voting, the winner of today's pitch competition is People Joy. So please welcome to the stage Emeka from People Joy.
All right. Great job. Say a few words. Sorry, I'm very surprised. I don't have anything prepared. I just want to let you all know, just really appreciate being here, really being part of the Plug and Play family. You know, I started this company really out of a passion of mine, which was to help employees achieve financial wellness. The name People Joy, if you look at the Declaration of Independence, it says everyone's entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Really hard to achieve that when you're buried in debt. In fact, we were getting locked up by Great Britain. That's why we declared independence, for debt. And so the focus here is really to help people achieve that financial wellness and that financial freedom. So really just super passionate about what I'm doing. And I think, as you saw from the other entrepreneurs here today, we're all super passionate about what we're doing. So thank you again for everybody who attended. Please, if you're interested in learning more about us, I'm at the booth, or hit me up on Umbrella. Thank you.
Great job. All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. It was a long day today for those of you who participated in both sessions. We had InsurTech in the morning and Enterprise 2.0 now. So I hope it was productive and fun for you. You know, this is an event that we put on every year in addition to the 3 other summits that we have throughout the year. So, you know, for those partners that made it out, brought out their business units, and are using this time to expand their engagement relationships with Plug and Play, thank you for being here. Thank you to the startups for being here and making it out and putting together your pitches and all the hard work during your time during the accelerator batch. For those of you that are part of corporations that are not part of Plug and Play yet, that don't partner with Plug and Play anywhere in the world, now is a tremendous time to talk to somebody about what that can do for your corporation. So, you know, thank you to our keynote as well. If we could give a quick round of applause to our keynote speaker for the day. I thought she was tremendous. So thank you again for everybody for participating in this. We, in terms of the Enterprise 2.0 team and InsurTech teams, are already very much planning 2019. So if you'd like to participate in more events, we should have at least a half dozen events or more. We'll be at conferences, lots of speaking spots. If you know of any startups that should apply to the program, please do send them a link and let us know. If there's anything else that we can do to help everybody, please, again, find a Plug and Play employee, and we'd be happy to do so. So there will be some on-site networking for a while here, and those of you that are participating in the dinner tonight, we'll see you all there. So thank you to everybody who's here. Give a round of applause for yourself as well. So have a wonderful rest of the night, everybody, and thank you again for being here. Safe travels on your way home, and don't drop any business cards of those startups. It's a very important meeting that you had. Remember that. We could have the Enterprise 2.0 startups on the stage. We'll do a photo of the Enterprise 2.0 startups on stage. Any of the startups from the program, please come on stage.